All right, so good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. I know Mondays normally aren't that happy. Like, oh man, the weekend's over. But the fun this week is just beginning, right? Because we've got some excellent stuff in store for today. But it's mainly going to come from you, okay? This is user-generated content. Student-generated content, sorry, right? In terms of computers. Because today is review day. Right? You were given the chapter review to begin over the weekend. Hopefully you've looked at that and at least started, tried out most of the problems. Okay? That's generally the best practice, is to just preview all of them, give them a quick read, and check in your brain. Say, hey brain, I just read this thing. Is that enough? Do I already know how to solve this? And just give yourself a quick, easy, medium, hard. Okay? Check in, ask your brain, is this going to be easy, medium, or hard? And at least get that analysis done would be my recommendation, right? So today, then, from you, I am going to answer any and all of your questions. If you want me to run through and solve any of these problems, I am absolutely open for it. I welcome it. But if you don't ask me any questions, I'm just going to sit here and probably put in grades. Okay? So you had I would recommend doing the vocabulary and notation. Make sure you understand all of these things. Yes, they will be on the test. The concept, what's the difference between exercise and a problem, right? Under what conditions, all of those clues, when to use, which problem-solving strategy, okay? I was finishing up writing the test this weekend. I'll let you know a little secret there. A lot of the questions are very, very, very similar to the quizzes that we've done so far. So if you want to go back, even though you've done them and completed them to 100%, they are saved in your account. That's why I make sure you log in, right? That, and you can go back to quizzes and review those. I think there's a flashcards version you can do as well if you want to study those to help you out. Because, yeah, a lot of that exact same information, similar kind of question. Hey, which of the following is a clue for this strategy? Or which strategy is best for this clue, right? That kind of thing. And then working the problems themselves will also lead that, because there are a couple problems on the test. Right? Put that out there. You will have to complete them and get them correct as part of the test. So with that said, what would you like to know? Nothing? I will point out that because of the YouTube recordings, you do have a distinct advantage this year that other years haven't had, right? And that you get to go back and see the questions and answers that the other class would have asked, right? So at the end of the day, even if we haven't answered anything, I do encourage you, go back and find on my YouTube channel, right, for geometry 7 and 8, and see if what questions they got answered. It's free stuff, right? So take advantage of that. Right, so logistically, most of the test is going to be on quizzes. So it is a quest, right? So we use the quizzes format, which means you get free retakes right there built in, okay, all week long. But the problems, right, because they're not, multiple choice kinds of answers, the problems will be a separate post on Google Classrooms, and so that'll be typical like homework. You'll download the document, it'll have the problems presented there. You will do your work, have your answer, make sure your answer is obvious, right? If you've got all this work, right? Work stuff, plus this and all this gobbledygook and pictures and running around. Make sure you have your answer, a nice neat box so it's obvious what's your final answer to the problem. Okay, leave the rest of your work there. Don't erase anything. I want to see all of it. Okay? And then you upload that to the classroom post. So there'll be two separate components to it. Otherwise, if I tried to put the problems in as a fill in your own answer on quizzes, it would only give you 1 point for it. I'm like, no way. You got to make these worth more points than the single multiple choice questions like on the rest of it, okay? So that way you can get partial credit and worth multiple points there. Good question, though. Thanks for clearing that up. Anything else? Anybody want to see these problems in action? You already did them over the weekend. They were so easy. You already know the answer. You're very confident that you got it correct. Whole section, ooh, don't forget the inductive, deductive, right? We started that way back in first semester. It comes back with a vengeance here. That's on the test too. It's all there, right? Yeah, these were some good ones. Didn't we do toothpicks, hexagons before? Usually the review questions are actually different, but I think this one's, we did that already. Oh, here we go. Please explain how to solve problem 3 in section 1.1. Okay, will do. Problem 3, section 1.1. So here we go. A triangle with equal side lengths is cut from a square as shown, so that the distance around the triangle is 1/2 the distance around the remaining figure. The square has a side length of 10 inches. What are the side lengths of the triangle? That's a bit of a confusingly written one, right? The distance around the triangle is 1/2 the distance around the remaining figure. So I think when they mean distance around, they're talking about the perimeter here, right? So is cut from. So imagine, if you will, this was a sheet of paper, and now we have. Oh, I can draw a better triangle than that. Here we go. Right? We have this triangle piece. So there's now two pieces of paper. One is square minus triangle, and one is triangle. It's all equal side lengths. Okay? So whatever we call that, right? A all the way around. And at this point, I'm just using a variable for clarity, just to help me understand. Okay, let's just call this a name so I can refer to it shorthand. I haven't even decided, hey, using a variable will be useful, because I haven't gone for the equation, right? You pick a variable when you're going to write an equation. We're just trying to understand this. I'm sketching things out, drawing a picture to better understand. So distance around, I think they're referring to perimeter here. So perimeter around there is 1/2 the distance all the way around here. And this would be, it says it's 10, so I would have 10, 10, 10, and that minus the triangle, right? We cut the triangle out. So this would be 10 minus A. Okay, variable is definitely helping here. Full dibs on, okay, yep, use a variable, because I just immediately had this relationship that I need to figure out, and that's the best way to present it. I mean, whatever this triangle side is, I just had to subtract that off of it. Right? So we got to figure out how much that is, right? There's definitely a relationship. So let's see here. Then we got to bring in that 1/2 thing. 1/2 the distance around the remaining figure. So distance around the triangle, so the full perimeter would be 3 A's, right? That should equal 1/2. Okay, is 1/2 the distance around the remaining figure. So the remaining figure is 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 minus A. Right? So 40 minus, can we just say 40 minus A? Right? It would be all the way around 40 minus that A. Everyone okay with that? So how we got that equation. Now I have an algebra equation, solve for A. That's what I'm trying to find. Right? I think that's, what are the side lengths of the triangle? They're literally asking for A. So as soon as I solve for A, I have solved the whole problem. Okay? Do always double check that. Right? Be careful. The variable you've set up for your convenience is not always the ultimate answer to the problem. So double check that you've actually answered the question they're asking for. Right? They might have said, what is the distance around the triangle? And you have to go back and be like, oh, wait, the final answer is 3 times A. You don't want to miss out on multiplying by 3. Right? Such a simple last-minute thing. All right, so let's solve this sucker. There's our setup. Now, algebra ensues. Okay, distribute the half. So 3A equals 20 minus half an A. I'm going to add half an A to both sides. So this becomes, how many halves is this? Let's see, set that as halves. This would be 6 halves plus a half, so I get 7 halves A equals 20. And now get rid of that fraction, multiply by the reciprocal. So we're going to multiply both sides by 2/7. That way this reduces that reduces that, and I just have A. So what is 2/7 of 20? Well, that's a little inconvenient. What a rude fraction. 2/7 of 20. 40 divided by, it's so close to a multiple, right? If it was 21, it would work out. But no, I get some ugly thing here. Okay, 20 times 2/7. Where's my calculator? Okay, 20 times 2 divided by 7. I get 5.71. So we'll get an approximation here. About 5.71 inches. That is my final answer. Put a box around it. Let's see, does that make sense? 3 times that is about, so it's a little more than 5. 3 times that, a little more than 15, maybe 16 range. Okay, what if the other side, 40 minus 5, about 35, almost 34. Half of 34 is 17. That's close to 16. So it seems right? It sounds like it works. Distance around the triangle is half the distance around the remaining figure. I'm pretty confident with that. I like it. There you go. That is it. Other questions? On that portion, yes. On the multiple choice short answer portion, yes. Oh, nuts. This is wrong. So sorry, everybody. You know what we forgot? We forgot this bit right here. Half the distance around the remaining figure. The whole thing. We just compared the perimeter of the triangle to the perimeter of almost the square. But we need the perimeter of the whole piece of paper. So we have to include these two lengths in our perimeter of this shape. So instead of 40 minus a, I have to add 2 more a's there, right? Because this is an a and this is an a, those 2 bits from the triangle. So really this is 40 plus a, right? 40 minus a plus 2 more a's, right? Minus a plus 2a, net gain of plus 1a. Agreed? Which means this is 20 plus a over 2. So instead of adding a over 2 to both sides, I'm going to subtract a over 2 on both sides. And so instead of 7, I get 5 halves a. I can still do the same technique, multiply by now 2/5 on both sides. So 2/5 instead of 2/7, which means my answer comes out to be a much better, much nicer integer. 20 times 2 is 40. 40 divided by 5 is 8 inches. There we go. That's what we wanted. Oh, isn't that so much better? It was bugging me and like, man, it'd be really nice if this came out to be an integer solution, right? And that's, I mean, we had no way to test. There was no way to check. We were like, okay, I can plug my answer back into the equation. It still works. I got an answer, but I wasn't satisfied with it. Okay? Let that be a lesson for you right there. Like, don't just settle for, I got an answer. Like, get the best answer possible. And be like, wait, is there some reason I ended up with this ugly fractional thing? Like, that's not practical. I can't measure that 5.7. What am I supposed to do with that, right? This has all the makings of something that could physically be done. But that strange decimal fractional answer is not something you can mark off on your ruler and make actually happen. So I've been sitting at this puzzling, wait, did I miss something? I did. I totally missed counting these 2 sides for the remaining figure. So there we have it. The real answer is 8-inch per side triangle. Whew. Okay, that's better. I feel much better about this problem now. All right, anybody encounter any new questions? No, you've got those taken care of? I even made a prop to deal with number 1. Might as well show this off while we're here. Okay, and if anyone is struggling with number 1, this is a test of your visual spatial reasoning skills. So if it helps, just cut out a piece of paper, okay, in that T shape and see how things fold into a cube, how you relate, okay, I need this thing, and then the L goes above that. Yep, that works out, so that has to be that side, right? And just kind of work your way around where they have to go to make everything work. Right, so. All right, carry on.